Welcome everybody to the Chinchilla Pickin' Podcast. It is July the 6th, 2025 at 4:21 p.m. As always, we hope to be entertaining, educational, and uplifting because we want everyone to make money. My name is David Underwood, and I'm joined by the one and only the Rambo of capitalism himself, Brandon Beaver.
Yeah. Man, I can't believe it's July already. This year's it's so fast. Everything goes by so fast, Dave.
Yes,
Can't
as we get
stop it.
older, it just flies by,
Man,
flies by.
make it stop
So,
just for a little bit.
yeah, have fun with that. Try to make it stop. Enjoy the moment while you can.
Yeah, just don't let it stop while I'm at work. I want it to stop another time for a little bit. Weekend preferably would be nice.
Yeah. Well, right. Yeah. It always seems to go slowest at work, and then when you are doing things you love, it just flies by.
Yeah,
So
that's
is
true.
the way it is, man. How was your fourth? How was your America Day?
Yeah, it was all right. How about yours?
I did nothing. I
Okay.
stayed
Yeah, see,
home, just
neither did
kind of
I.
chilled.
We didn't either. We got too much stuff going on at the house that's making us exhausted, too many projects. It was just time to chill for a couple of days.
See, you say that, and then you tell me that you're thinking about having kids, and I'm like, you're
I'm not saying
exhausted.
no, 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 I'm not. That you got me mixed up with somebody else.
Gotcha.
Uh,
Gotcha. Because I
I would
was
rather
just like,
invest
wait
my
till you
money.
have kids. And
No, no, no. See, here's my problem. My problem is that we bought this house 7 years ago, and I was like,
yeah.
all right, let's buy an old fixer upper because it'll be cheaper. And it's not the case. It's just
Well, you,
not the
you
case,
haven't you
of
haven't
course.
fixed her up or yet. You haven't fixed it up.
Well, we have a little bit. The problem is things just keep falling apart. It's never ending.
Uh there is an ending. You just got to put in the time, the effort, the money, and
Death? Is it when I die? That's the ending?
uh I mean, there's always when you own the property in the house, there's always going to be something that needs work on.
Yeah.
Accepting that fact, understanding, but yeah, getting it everything up to date can be done. Yes.
Yeah.
And then it's just maintenance after that.
Which is constant. Because then if
Yeah, I
you
mean,
don't
maintenance is
maintain it, if,
constant.
if you let up on it, then it gets worse and worse and worse.
Well, I mean, it's just like having the car. You're gonna have to do oil changes. You're gonna have to change your brakes. You're gonna have to change your tires. There's That's part of owning a car. It's the same thing with a house.
What's cheaper with a car to allow other people to do those things, usually,
With a
than it
house,
is
you're
to,
eventually gonna have to change out the roof. The roofs don't last forever. You're gonna have to change out your AC unit, your heating unit. They don't last forever. Your water, it doesn't last forever. It's just part of owning a house, man.
yep.
You're gonna have to get your air ducts cleaned. That's why those services exist. There's HVAC techs. There's a huge need for those. Roofers, there's
Rethinking this
always a
whole
need
home
for
thing.
roofers.
I'm
Huh?
rethinking this whole owning a home thing. There's maybe I'll go back to an apartment or something. Another reason to not have kids. Just saying.
Another
I don't
reason.
know. See, the thing is that like I'm just oh my God, it's just so frustrating. Okay, we're on a stock and podcast, finance podcast. So maybe
Yes, right.
we can pass this.
Let's get past
What
this, shall
a
we? Finances.
slow news week, man. Like we just everybody panics because the ADP number comes out and it's like, all right, slowing, showing the loss of 33,000, which looked pretty bad initially. It was, hey, we lost 33,000. They were expected to gain what, like 200,000, something like that. And then everybody reacted to it, which you shouldn't have done. And, it was, I saw it on my notifications and I was like, okay, well, that's something to keep in mind. Didn't sell because of it. A lot of people sold because of it, but there was no reason to. Then the BLS number comes out and it's like, all right, we added 147,000 jobs and everything.
Well, that was the ADP estimate number that was negative 3,000. That wasn't the actual government
Yeah,
number.
that's what I'm saying. The ADP number was negative 33,000, which is private. It's all private industry. Some 400,000 businesses that ADP has as clients, that's who they use, where the
Yeah,
BLS number is a lot more inclusive and also includes government payrolls, which unfortunately was a large driver of growth this month. But, again, not as bad as we thought it was going to be or thought it was.
not even near as bad. And then also you had the that one bill that passed and got signed in to law.
The big, beautiful one.
Yes, the big beautiful bill.
Oh,
So I mean, there's some implications there. We'll see the stock market move on Monday based off of what how they digest the numbers from that and how they think it's going to affect the economy. You had some tariff negotiations. I believe that Japan they spent hours over the weekend negotiating, and that they might have a deal finally set. Vietnam got better set guidelines, and those that deal might be done. Thailand is giving up more in order to strike a deal. So I mean, deals are being made. I think there was quite a bit of news. I just don't have the
hey,
details. I saw the articles and the headlines, and I read the articles. I had know them off the top of my head.
speaking of the big, beautiful bill, I thought overtime taxes and tip taxes were going away. What happened to that? Did we just forget about it?
I believe it was overtime up to a certain amount, like 20,000 a year. You don't have to pay taxes on overtime.
After this bill.
This bill, once it
Okay.
goes through, yeah,
All right.
it's yeah, and then tips, same thing. It's up to I think the first $15,000 in tips.
A
You
good
don't have to
portion
pay taxes on.
a good portion of my income is overtime. So I was looking forward to that. And I tried to research it. I didn't get any straight answers because it's political. So of course, you're going to get one way or the other. You're going to get people who are like, super all for it, and then people who are all against it, and then never a middle ground.
And then you and I, who are just like, hey, just tell me the straight facts. I only
Yeah.
want facts and data, and I make movements based off the data because
Yeah.
data is impartial.
Tell me.
Ones and zeros are impartial. They're not political. They're not, that's what I want. I want data and let me make my
Yeah.
decision based off
Yeah.
data.
Give me the data and tell me how to make money off of it, or help me decide how to make money off of it, and then I'm good. That's my money.
Right. That's what I'm
That's
looking at.
my
So I mean, there's gonna be a lot of that. There's gonna be a lot of people digesting those tariff deals and those the beautiful big beautiful bill deal, and we'll see how that turns out on Monday. I know there's a lot of movement in the crypto behind Bitcoin. They're expecting that to really double by the end of the year, which I've heard those calls before. I don't think it's gonna double by the end of the year. I think you're gonna have a nice big jump up and a new bottom put in, but I don't believe we're gonna see 200,000 by the end of the year. That's ridiculous. And,
there's a
and
lot of there's a lot of frothiness in the crypto stocks right now.
I disagree.
Circle
Not a
life,
lot of
dude,
fraud.
look at Circle. There's a lot of frothiness. There's a lot of
Oh,
room
crypto
probably
stocks.
for those.
Sorry, I thought you were saying cryptocurrencies.
No,
Crypto
no, the
stocks, yes,
stocks,
yes.
and they're
Stocks,
probably going to
yes,
go higher before they come back down because it's just a lot of momentum, a
yes.
lot of buying.
I showed you the PE ratio of Circle Internet Group in our chat group. It was 1,200% at one point.
Yeah,
PE ratio, 1,200 PE ratio. That's ridiculous.
yeah,
If you actually met that growth as a company, I would be just like, wow, why didn't I buy you?
right, yeah,
um, but all right, well, what do you say we get into it? Let's give the listeners or viewers, now that we're on YouTube, something to talk about financial stock wise. Rules. Brandon and I get together 5 to 10 minutes before the show. Actually, today we didn't get together before the show. We actually got on and just hit record. I have no idea what Brandon's going to talk about, and he has no idea what I'm going to talk about. We are shooting it from the hip right here. I do have my phone ready to start researching whatever you start spouting off, so I can refute it. But let's see where it goes. Brandon, take it away.
yeah. A lot of people got excited about this super intelligence unit that Meta announced, and not me, not me.
No, really?
No, no. I tell you what, I'm really like excited and really scared of AI at the same time. But
Okay.
that's a whole different thing. But no, I show me a path to progress or profitability on Reality Labs, and then I'll get excited.
Really? I think there is a path. there. There's a
Mm,
very clear path there. It's
not,
adoption. You need
okay.
enough people adopting it, and then the games will sell, and the other services will sell, and the little thing in-game purchases will sell once you have the adoption.
Show it to me in the financials because that's not happening
What
yet.
about units? Units
That's
sold
10
hasn't it
years.
gone up year over year?
Units
Units sold
sold, yeah, but also they're losing more money. So,
losing more on the units.
no, they're losing more money as a whole on the reality labs. I didn't break it down to a unit level.
Because if the units sold are going up, then I think what the problem is, because I talk to people who try out VR all the time, right?
Yeah.
And I ask them, like, they're like, oh, yeah, I got an Oculus. I bought a few, couple games, I played them, and that was it. And it's because they're not using it for its intended purpose. Is like, so let's say, Brandon, you and I, right? We're brand new. We get our Oculus first time ever. You get a couple games, I get a couple games, play it. It's kind of cool. All right, got that out of my system. But the real thing that was going to make it really take off is if you get a game like Onward, which is a VR game, and I get Onward, and we play each other, and it's the interaction without having to be in the same. It's the interaction like you would have in Call of Duty or something with your buddies
Right.
and your friends, and having that was going to be the big driver behind it, and people aren't actually interacting with other Oculus individuals, and that is what's stopping the growth of it.
I think that's going to change with time. I do think that'll change with time because when I jump on the Oculus and stuff, I see a lot of kids playing with each other.
But
And so
you
those
still
kids
don't
that are,
join me on Onward and shoot up other people.
but listen, those kids that are, being trained to play that way, that's going to continue through adulthood and such when because we never gave up our video games. Our parents said we were going to grow out of them, but we never did. So when
Some of
those
us
kids are
did.
playing 10, 20 years from now, no, you still have games. Your thing. You got an Oculus before I did for this stuff. I played Star
Yeah.
Trek at your house.
Not Star Trek, other stuff. Yes.
Star Wars, whatever, same thing. Now that I
Yes.
just
I do
angered,
have I have like five. I have lots of VR stuff, and I do have other gaming consoles. Yes.
I just angered all half of our listeners by saying Star
Yes, you
Trek
did. You
stuff.
started a debate in the comment section, hopefully.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here's the thing. All right. So Meta starts this super intelligence unit. Um, Mark Zuckerberg makes himself the chief recruiter of this because he's frustrated with the slow progress of, reportedly frustrated with the slow progress of AI within his own company. He's seeing companies like DeepSeek use their open source Llama technology and do more things than Meta actually has been doing with it. So, I mean, he was like seeing stuff like that, getting frustrated with it. Now he's offering up things like $300 million pay packages for artificial intelligence developers to join their crew.
I don't trust the news from DeepSeek. DeepSeek. I believe it's tainted. This is my own personal opinion. I do not have solid evidence to back me up on that statement. That's what my gut is telling me is that it's not 100% accurate or true what is coming out of DeepSeek.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think so either, but I'm just saying like what he's watching other companies do with a meta open source. He's thinking so far they're doing better things than they are actually with it, and he's just
It's fake.
reports. This is not
It's
100%.
fake. It's
So,
fake. DeepSeek is all built off of what OpenAI, all these other AI programs have already done, and then they're spouting that look what we're doing, but you've built it all the backs of everybody else. You built up all this other things. It's I'm gonna give you an analogy here. It's like the NASA space program and the Russian space program, how they built all these millions and billions of dollars and put it into these programs to develop engines and rockets and satellites and all these things that drove the world to a new place in history, right? We landed on the moon and we did all these things. If it wasn't for those us two countries, Russia and the United States, doing that and pushing the boundaries and spending all this money to develop this technology, you wouldn't have the technology nowadays that India can now go ahead and land something on the comet for $50 million.
Okay.
That wouldn't
So,
exist if it wasn't for the backs of the United States and Russia.
sure. So Meta has earmarked an additional 60 billion, between 60 billion and 72 billion dollars for AI infrastructure. So
And
more
they're going to
spending.
spend every last dime of it.
Yeah, they will, absolutely. Meanwhile, there's no timeline, no official timeline whatsoever for Reality Labs to become profitable. That's why I'm kind of like in a wait and see mode. I'm not selling this stock by any means. I'm not selling it, but I'm just not
AI
that
will be,
excited about it.
AI will become profitable for Facebook long before Reality Labs does. But the thing with Reality Labs is this is something that Mark Zuckerberg loves and wants to continue to do. And since he's the founder and owns the biggest chunk of the company, and he's not going to be looking to retire anytime soon, it's not going to go away.
Reality Labs is the consumer facing portion of the artificial intelligence game for Meta. That's the Ray-Ban glasses, the Quest, and all that stuff. So I want to see it profitable.
You know
It
what's
doesn't have
fun?
to be tomorrow.
Yeah.
I want a timeline. I want to see, revenue growth while maybe expenditures start to decline over the long haul. I mean, this has been what I don't know, 3, 4 years since it's been announced. It gave a 10-year time frame on Reality Labs at the beginning, and now we don't seem to have a time frame anymore on profitability. I just I want to see what happens here. I'm not excited about the super intelligence unit. I'm not excited about having to spend $300 million to bring one guy over. And I do understand they're paying these guys a lot of money because they understand that once they develop these artificial intelligence languages and deep learning artificial intelligence, these guys are no longer going to have a job anymore because what's going to be the need for the AI developer at that point once the AI is developing itself.
Yeah.
So I mean that's why these large pay packages exist. But my goodness, $14.3 billion investment, by the way, in Scale AI to take over 49% of that company is a lot of money, a lot of money.
I'll tell you what, if I was an AI developer, I would sign that deal, take that money, work 2 years, and retire.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why wouldn't
Why
you?
wouldn't you? Right.
I mean, that's retiring money. That's call it a day money, and I'm gonna sit back in my nice big house somewhere and just relax.
Now, if you're somebody that's in college and thinking like, "Hey, what am I going to do with my career?" You're kind of watching this and thinking, they just brought 10 people over into Meta, something like that. A lot of them came from OpenAI, Microsoft. There's a recruiting war going on for these people. There's bidding wars for this job type and but then again, you got to think too, it's artificial intelligence in 10 years, is this going to actually exist?
This field didn't exist 10 years ago.
It didn't, but it might not again in 10 years from now because artificial intelligence itself may render obsolete.
Yeah,
There's going to be a lot that it renders obsolete, which is
right.
why I'm also, I'm excited about it, but I'm a little afraid.
In 10 years from now, we should have the Tesla Optimus robots in warehouses moving boxes so that we don't need people and they can move 24/7 and it can be ran by AI.
So if this happens in a relatively slow fashion, which I don't think it's going to, but if it does, the job displacement is going to just create other jobs because there's no lack of want or need from humans. We're going to want and need new things until we die, right? So we're always going to find new industrious ways to create jobs and to service the needs of other people as long as those needs still exist. There's a lot of needs that we don't even know that we have that we'll find out in 10 years from now that we have. But is artificial intelligence, I mean, the exponential rate at which it's growing, even to now, is insane. And does it grow faster than what we can do as a species to create jobs?
I
I
got a
don't.
question for I got a
It's
question for you,
crazy.
Brandon.
What?
How many companies of the Magnificent Seven existed 30 plus years ago?
30 years ago, I would say, let's see, Amazon started in the late 90s, not them. Microsoft existed. Nvidia's been around for a much longer time than I don't know. I don't know if that was in the 90s though. I don't know. I really
Two,
don't know. Off the top of my
two,
head, I don't know.
two of the biggest seven companies in the world existed 30 plus years ago. That was Microsoft and Apple.
Yeah,
Microsoft and Apple.
that's crazy. Yeah, that is wild. And then
So
back then, 30 years
the
ago
other
was IBM.
five are 30 years or younger.
Yeah.
Of the
But
top seven biggest companies.
yeah, and it was IBM in the 90s and General Electric and
IBM's
the
in
industrials.
it's a shell of itself.
Yeah.
General Electric split up three different smaller companies, never going to be as big as it was.
We also have right now investment from these big companies that like Apple and Nvidia and Meta at a scale that we've never seen before. So that just to me that makes me wonder, that moat that they're able to build around themselves, is it wide enough to last another 30 years? It might be. These might be
Maybe.
companies that are, around for our grandkids.
Ford's still around, GM's still around,
Yeah, Ford's having its own problems right now.
but I'm just saying, there's companies that strike out, they really go out into a field, they change the whole atmosphere of that field, which Henry Ford did, and they're still around.
Yeah. And then
So I
there's
mean,
companies
there's
like Sears that 100 years ago was doing what Amazon did, and now it's no longer existing.
right.
Yeah.
UPS, FedEx still around.
Founder just
Um,
died of FedEx.
huh?
The founder of FedEx just passed away,
Yes.
80 years old.
I heard a crazy story, and I don't know if it's true or not, that his company was close to bankruptcy, and he stopped in Vegas and gambled the rest of the company's money and earned enough to keep the company afloat one more week, and then got investors to back the company.
Interesting.
I don't know if it's true, but that's a funny story if it is.
I want it to be true. Let's just
Yeah,
say it is.
they were gonna go under, but he went to Vegas, boom, earned some cash, came back, kept them afloat for another week, and investors came in and saved the day.
Yeah, but you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know who's going to be the next. Look at Pepsi, for example, because I'm about to get into them. I know you didn't know that because we didn't go over it.
Right?
But
Wow. Okay,
Pepsi's
Pepsi.
completely forgotten who they are.
Yeah.
100% and I wanted to bring this up because I made the mistake 2 years ago on this podcast of calling this a buy. And I don't own it right now. And I've made a
I
lot
said
of.
it was a sell because of the GLP-1 was part of the reason.
You
Remember?
said that. You
I
said
did.
that. I
Yeah,
thought
I
it was
did.
a buy. But here's the thing.
Did it go up or did it go down since
No, it's been
we made
down.
those?
It's been down a lot. And
So I
then
was right.
but kind of. And they think you're right. Pepsi blames it on the GLP-1 and the
I
anti-sugar
don't think that's
phenomenon.
all of it. I think there was other underlying conditions, but yeah.
Can't be because look at how Coke is doing.
It's it's
Coca-Cola, different
it's
horizon.
it's the same thing as with Nike. So we've talked about Nike on this show, right?
Yeah.
And the thing that has hurt Nike are these boutique shoe companies that have come out, such as Hoka, such as OnCloud. These other companies where people are going to get their shoes that fit whatever lifestyle they want. It's the same thing. I go down the chip aisle now. You see all the Frito-Lay chips, but then I also see these other companies that are coming up that are not Frito-Lay, that are people are like, ooh, this looks better. This looks unique. This is not something I'm familiar with. Let me try this out.
Whew. Yeah, I mean that's right. But I mean, look, GLP-1s are supposed to, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I know Pepsi's got a huge snack business with Frito-Lay.
Yep.
But GLP-1s are supposed to suppress your appetite for carbonated beverages too, right? Like sodas and sugar.
No.
I thought they were.
No.
Okay.
So the way that a lot of these GLP-1 drugs work is it has to do with a lot of it can affect your sugar levels and it can affect your insulin levels, right? And
Mhm.
it's part of it because that's why it was a diabetes drug. It was made for diabetes. They just changed a little bit of it to suit weight loss because they started seeing that, hey, everybody they gave this drug to for diabetes lost a ton of weight. So they were like, hey, this can be used for weight loss. Let's just make a small changes, bing, bang, boom. weight loss drug. Um, so a lot of people, what they say when they take GLP-1s is that they actually crave sugar and they need that sugar because their sugar level drops
Right.
because it's not in their bloodstream anymore, which is what some diabetic people need. But if you're normal, if you don't need that, if you're not diabetic, then you need to replace that sugar with sugar. So some people actually eat candy on GLP-1s or sugary substances to get that sugar in their bloodstream.
Okay.
It all
Inter-
depends on how it affects your body and
So,
where you at, where's your starting point at, your sugar levels, your insulin levels, starting point, and then where are you going with it and how it affects you. So it's a case by case. So does it always do that? No.
okay.
Does it always like make you not crave sugar? No. It makes you not crave fatty substances.
It's
You
not,
don't crave fast food.
it can't be the full explanation of Pepsi sales volume dropping 32% since 2010.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not that,
not.
right?
It's not that. I think Pepsi and Coke have way too many brands. I think that's why Dr. Pepper 7 Up
Oh,
really
Dr.
is doing.
Pepper, but Dr. Pepper's got Keurig and Green Mountain.
Yeah, that's their
So,
own company, and they're more centered around just a few names, and I think that's why Dr. Pepper's done very well, and the Green Mountain and Keurig have done very well.
yeah, Coke though has like zero snacks. I mean, like it's not even in their reports.
They
If
don't
they
need
have
it.
any, I don't know any.
They
So I
don't
mean,
need it. Coke gets you when you open a restaurant. They're one of the first people on your door saying, "Hell, hey, sell Coke, and we'll give you a free fridge."
yeah. Well, I mean, they should be. You know, Asa Candler, the who I mean, I know John Pemberton invented Coke, but Asa Candler was the one who got it off the ground. And one of the ways that he got it off the ground was that the people that sold Coke, he would go back with checks to them and say, "Here's your bonus for selling so much Coke." And they would get, refunds back to them from Asa Candler, and that was their revenue sharing was their reason for, all right, we want to sell this brand more than we're going to sell everything else. Pretty
Yep.
brilliant. Pretty brilliant.
Yeah.
But 32% since 2010's the sales volume decline. Um, the former CEO of Pepsi, she had a performance with purpose initiative that worked up until about just a couple of years ago. They purchased Frito-Lay, right? And
Okay.
Frito-Lay became a significant driver of growth for them. Very high margin snack business. It was working out very well. Here's the problem. Snacks are cyclical. And Pepsi found this out the hard way when inflation started increasing and people started cutting snacks out of their diet, and then GLP-1s, and they cut snacks out even more. And now this is actually weighing on the business. And they have a couple of issues with this because they focus so much advertising on their snack business. They took away advertising from the Coke or from the Pepsi brands. Pepsi has slipped. Pepsi's now the third most popular brand in the United States behind Dr. Pepper and Coca-Cola. That is one. They used to be even, with Coke, and now they're number three. They forgot who they were. When they acquired Frito-Lay, in my opinion, they forgot who they were. And they tried to become like this 1960s, 1970s style conglomerate that owned the grocery store. And that's been something that like we've learned, okay, that wasn't a good idea, right? When Kraft Heinz and Colgate Palmolive were the big guys, and then all of a sudden we realized you don't have any specific focuses on any one thing. So you're doing a bunch of stuff okay, but you're not doing anything great. And that's kind of where Pepsi's landed itself. Now, the current CEO, who's been in place since 2018, says their biggest headwind is the anti-sugar tsunami. If that's the case, then why is Coca-Cola kicking your butt?
Coke Zero.
Coke Zero? Well, there's also
Coke
Pepsi
Zero.
Zero Sugar. That's a high
Yeah, but
driver
nobody,
of growth
nobody,
for them too.
nobody cares about it because the taste difference between Coke and Pepsi. Pepsi is more of a sugary substance. It typically people who prefer Pepsi over Coke like that sugary taste, a sweet taste, and Coke is more of a bitter taste. And that's typically how people have separated that over time, and that's why some people prefer Coke over Pepsi. So Coke Zero does so well amongst people who are not looking for that sugary Taste.
Yeah, and
Sweet
marketing.
taste. Sweet is
They've
what I'll
just
say.
pulled
Sweet.
back so much marketing from the Pepsi brand itself that people aren't paying any attention to it anymore. And you've
Yeah.
developed a brand where 60% of your business is coming from convenience stores in a time where nobody's buying anything from convenience stores anymore.
Yeah. And with more the rise of electric vehicles, who's going to stop at the convenience store?
Yeah, if you would have kept your Pepsi brand in focus, that could have been the stabilizer with all these other businesses that you got involved with that are so volatile. And there is high growth there, don't get me wrong, potentially high growth at least, but it's very volatile. And now your company's suffering from the volatility because you've taken the focus off away from your strategic core, which should be Pepsi, because that's your name.
So, do you think it's going to continue to fall or move up, or is this a buying
No,
opportunity here?
listen. Like, yeah, I don't, maybe it stays sideways. It's sold off so much that it could be a buyer right now, but I'm not touching it because they're not changing. Their answer to this was to spend, I think it was a couple
I'm
billion
looking it up right
dollars.
now while you're talking.
Yeah, they spent a couple billion on Poppy, which is a very popular, supposedly healthy soda drink. So
Yeah,
their
so they own Poppy, so they're the owners of that.
They
Okay.
own Poppy now, which is, I mean, fine. It's, a good growth there, but their answer is to buy more stuff. And as a shareholder, I'm like, all right, let's go for some, a little bit of homegrown growth here that costs a little bit less as shareholder equity to move in the right direction, and then we can make some acquisitions, but get your core business back in line first.
Yeah, Deutsche Bank just lowered their price target for Pepsi.
Well, Pepsi just lowered their full year guidance to flat. They were saying mid single digits revenue growth, and now they're saying that's not going to happen. It's going to be flat year over year.
And they
So
got a
that's probably why
four,
they lowered the price target.
yeah, 4.2% dividend. Payout ratio is only 80%. That's a low payout ratio for a company like Pepsi that you would expect, hey, if you're going to have a dividend, it should be paid out quarterly 100% of the time.
And that's what you know what? I honestly believe that it would benefit them to spin off the Frito-Lay business. You could have your Pepsi dividend stock, you can have your Frito-Lay growth, and then everybody can go their happy separate ways. 10 years ago, they were talking about doing this. Nelson Peltz from Trian got involved and tried to force a spinoff. And then he wound up getting one of his board members elected. And then the stock shot up. And then he made off with all of his profits and left Pepsi. Which, by the way, that's another one of the reasons why I never, as a shareholder, get too excited about Nelson Peltz getting involved because he's just about those short-term gains and he leaves. It's not, you know,
He's
there's
all about making his money. I get it.
he is, and I
Fair
get it,
enough. Fair enough.
but the way he presents himself as some sort of moral representative of the shareholders and caring about everybody's value is just false.
Gotcha. All right, so Pepsi's a bomb because they've lost themselves. They need to get back to the roots. You're not buying, you're selling. Bear country it is.
Yeah, 2004 Pepsi had a 31.7% market share of soda in the United States. They've now got an 8.3%.
Wow.
So you see right there exactly what's happening with Pepsi. Your core product has declined because you stopped paying attention to it. You forgot who you were, and your answer to that is to go out and buy other brands. Still,
There you go.
that's my frustration.
That's your one frustration from Brandon Beaver this week.
No, there'll be more next week.
All right. What else you got, Brandon?
That's everything I got on my end here.
All right, cool. Let's get into a couple other things. And now that we've covered that, I want to talk about some things that are some just three quick headlines that came across. I love my headline section. I love doing this because it's fun for me, and I feel like it's fun for Brandon. But lately you haven't been saying much to the headlines, so let's see if I can get something more out of you. Here we go. Headline reads: Foxconn reports record Q2 revenue, but cautions about geopolitical and exchange rate risk. So Taiwan's Foxconn, the world's largest contract electronics maker, reported record second quarter revenue on strong demand for its AI products. Uh, they jumped 15.82% year over year on their top line numbers, over 1 trillion, 1.7 trillion. Um, they're saying that the robust AI demand is going to lead to strong growth. Customers include NVIDIA, and that's why they're really pushing on this. iPhones, this is where Apple gets most of their iPhones from. June revenue alone rose 10% year over year at 540 billion Taiwan dollars for June. It anticipates growth in this quarter from the previous 3 months, same period, but cautioned there's potential risks to growth. I don't like this because I read the whole thing. Everything looks great. The orders look great. They're raising revenue, but they keep saying caution. There's potential growth, potential risk. I'm like, do you really see any risks? Do you really see any problems, or are you just saying that just in case something happens?
Shut up about the exchange rates too. Like seriously, you're an international business. It's part of doing business. It's a obstacle that you have to overcome as a basic business, that does business over international borders. Everybody has to deal with it.
I don't like they're complaining either. I think they're just setting up for a possible if they don't meet expectations, yada yada yada. Their shares jumped 76% last year, right? Did
Yeah.
fantastic. After they reported these earnings, their stock was down 1.83%. Um, Buying opportunity?
Is Foxconn available to buy for U.S. shareholders?
I was assuming so. I didn't
I don't
even look
think
it
it
up.
is. I
No,
don't think because
really.
you cannot buy direct shares of Chinese companies, which is another thing that I was wrong about with all the ADRs in China a couple of years ago.
So is it through the Hong Kong and the Caribbean like we've seen other ones?
if Foxconn is available, that's
The
how it would.
Foxconn technology is FXCOF.
Okay.
That's the ticker symbol. Yeah, that's not right. No.
I mean, I'm not touching anything China related ever again.
Gotcha. You're not a bull in the china shop?
No, thanks for
Gotcha.
bringing that up. Hey, I got four baggers right now, okay? Two of them, two four baggers, General Electric and Meta, where I've made more than four times my money since that China thing. So
Gotcha.
I got some good things, right? That
There you
I've
go. All right.
done.
All right. All right. Let's move on. Next article. These are going to be hit rapid fire here, buddy. TikTok is building a new version of the app ahead of expected U.S. sale. This came out just today at 12:31 p.m. on the Reuters Newswire. TikTok is building a new version of its app for the United States, just for the United States, as they plan to sell this to a group of investors. This comes as U.S. President Donald Trump said on Friday he's going to start talking to China on Monday or Tuesday about the possible deal. TikTok has developed a plan to launch a new app in app stores on September 5th. So they do have a deadline, they have a date. The report added that TikTok users will eventually have to download the new app to be able to continue using the service, although the existing app will work until March of next year, though the timeline could change. They did not immediately respond to a Reuters request for comment on this news, even though a deal has been in the works and off in the works and in the works and off in the works, off and on for a while now. This is now that they have a deadline in sight, this seems to be a sealed deal.
Okay. I wonder. We don't know who they're going to sell to though.
Yeah, I don't know the names. I don't know who they're going to sell to. I don't know if there's going to be a new stock just for this company or if it's private or what. I don't know the deals of this.
I mean, it's a new bullish case in my opinion for Meta.
Really?
Oh yeah, for with Reels and all that. Yeah, they'll pick up market share over all this craziness.
Hmm. I figured that TikTok would stay in charge and it's just a newer app that Americans have to switch to,
We'll see. I mean, it's another frustrating thing for people who use TikTok.
right?
So,
All right, man. Last one, actually, we're going to have a little more talk about because last time I reported on this commodity, I reported it was right after it was right at the Sunday after the Israel Iran war started, current war started, and oil was jumping up. And I said it wouldn't stay up. It was going to rise for one day, maybe 2 or 3 days, and then it was going to come back down. It was not going to stay up. And I was correct. And I believe I'm going to read into this article here. There's a lot of articles out about the output levels from OPEC over this past weekend, what they agreed to. But this comes at all this oil news from a different angle, and I like the angle of this article. This headline reads, Oil falls as Iran affirms commitment to the nuclear treaty. This came out July 4th. Iran has reaffirmed the commitment to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. If you don't know what that is, it was a treaty that was signed by over almost 120 countries, somewhere around there, 108, somewhere around there. Around the world, all signed this treaty and agreed to certain rules when it comes to nuclear power. Oil futures fell slightly on Friday after Iran reaffirmed its commitment to this nuclear non-proliferation. At the exact same time, OPEC Plus group they raised their output this weekend, so they all came to an agreement that they're going to raise the output by over 500,000 barrels per day. They were doing that because inventories around the world seem to be lower overall, except the United States. Current administration has a drill, baby, drill, quote unquote. That's the quote unquote plan from the current administration, so they are drilling. U.S. news website Axios reported on Thursday that the United States was planning to meet with Iran next week to restart nuclear talks. Iran Foreign Minister Abbas Araki said that Tehran remained committed to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. So with all this, U.S. imposed fresh sanctions targeting Iran's oil trade on Thursday, which is another reason why Iran came out and made this statement. The Saudi Arabian defense minister, Prince Khalid bin Salman, met with President Trump and other officials at the White House to discuss de-escalation efforts with Iran. Trump also said on Thursday that he would meet with representatives of Iran if necessary. So all this was on Thursday. Friday, OPEC Plus says that they're going to go ahead and keep pumping out over 500,000 more barrels a day. Iran on Friday says that, hey, we're going to go ahead and we're going to stay with the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. All these things are causing oil to drop in price, which is a good thing for the consumer. So that's going to make the everyday consumer have more money in the pocket because the price of a gallon of gas is going to be lower.
Okay.
Do you think a couple questions here? I believe that Trump is really pushing this angle as a way to keep the economy moving at a higher level, which is what he needs in order for the numbers he throws out there to come true. Needs a positive economy, can't have a recession, need positive GDP growth. This would do it. So in making these moves, it is positive in that regard. Barclays came out, said that it raised its Brent oil price forecast by $6 to 72 a barrel for 2025 and by $10 to 70 a barrel for 2026. So they actually lowered the long-term cost per barrel of oil to 70. It's currently in the 60s and it may drop even lower. First thoughts, Brandon.
Oh man, I've been focused a lot in the energy sector, but it hasn't been on oil. It's been a lot on natural gas and nuclear. Um, I I'm not long term. I'm not a long term bull on oil still. I just think there's too many headwinds. Electrification of the globe. I think that even natural gas usage is going to go down over the course of history.
Every single oil CEO has said electrification is not going to matter when it comes to them doing business and selling oil.
Why?
BP, Conoco, Exxon all said the same
So, I mean,
thing.
if we get to a point where every vehicle on the road is electric,
They said it won't matter.
how?
Use oil in so many things.
No, I mean, but the majority of oil is being used
Because
by
airplanes,
transportation.
we are decades away from getting an airplane to fly without oil.
Yeah, I agree with that. But
Decades.
where are you going to get the growth to supplement the fact that you lost all the cars on the road?
Because one airplane flying around is worth I don't know how many cars.
I don't know. I don't believe what CEOs tell me.
Semis, semis.
I don't. I mean, I maybe you might be right.
So oil stocks before July 4th. So on July 3rd, when they ended their trading days, they were somewhat greenish. Exxon is about 112. It's been hanging around between 110 and 120 for almost a year now. Uh, it, I mean, they're all going to drop on this news.
I would
This
think
is
so.
news. This is news that's going to make them drop. This is a bear news for the oil companies such as Exxon, Conoco, Chevron, so on and so forth.
Yeah, I was surprised by the way that the reaction at the price at the pump was very muted. I mean, it didn't go up that high on the
You mean
Iran.
down?
No, I mean on the Iran and Israel
Oh yeah.
when they were going to war. I mean, I didn't really see
I
it.
knew it wouldn't. I knew it wouldn't. I was confident. I didn't see any reason for it to. Iran needs to sell oil to fund its government. Um, Israel is not a big oil producer, and the other countries were pretty much staying out of it.
Okay.
Iraq, Saudi
Yeah.
Arabia, all those
They didn't want
countries
anything
were
to do
just
with it.
staying out of it.
Right.
So, with nobody else getting involved and nobody else needed to get involved, it was really a muted reaction, which is what I saw coming. It's
The
what I
Saudis
thought
don't
would
like
happen.
the Saudis don't like the Iranians anyways. It's a complete split between Shia and Sunni
Yes.
Islam. So
Well, those are my headlines I have. The only other news I have, because there wasn't much earnings calls this week that I saw. I did see one company coming out before the bell on Thursday that
I've
I
got a
wanted to
headline
mention.
for you.
Oh, headline for me. Nice.
Yeah.
How the turntables have turned.
I'm glad you reminded me of this talking about energy. Google revealed a multifaceted strategic partnership with a company called Commonwealth Fusion Systems. This is a Bill Gates backed startup. And fusion energy is what a lot of analysts are saying going to be the future. Essentially, what this is I don't know the science behind it. I've read it and I understand it what I do understand for like a second and then it leaves my brain because I'm not scientifically minded. But fusion energy essentially is the way the sun creates energy. And if they're able to use fusion energy, what it will be, what they say it will be, an infinite source of energy. And there's companies like Commonwealth Fusion Systems that are working on this. And they say that this is no longer some sort of abject theory. It is now going to be a reality within the next decade. Um, Google has now committed to purchasing 200 megawatts of electricity from CFS, Commonwealth Fusion Systems. That is enough to power 75,000 homes. So, my
Or like
headline
a tenth of a data center.
probably. So they've been an investor since 2021. They've increased their financial stake in this company. They clearly believe in it. Microsoft has made deals with Helion, I think, for like 50 megawatts. So a fraction, but clearly you're getting Google and Microsoft and these big players from the Magnificent Seven saying, "Hey, we want to be a part of this." So for you, what do you think? I mean, fusion energy. I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm trying to find a public company that engages in this development and thinking, maybe it's an investment opportunity. There's not a public company that is directly related to fusion energy yet, but
Well, there
what are
is
your thoughts?
this one. This one.
Well, it's Google, but Commonwealth Fusion Systems is not publicly traded yet.
Oh, okay.
So,
Well, I mean, it's a good thing I own Google stock then, right?
yeah, absolutely.
That would be the way to play it. That would be the way to go. I haven't heard too much on Fusion front. Every now and then you hear news about, we're working on this fusion, working on that fusion throughout you'll see a headline here and there throughout the years, but nobody's really come out in a while and saying, hey, we're pushing forward this. We created a whole company just to do this. It's interesting because I hear of all these different companies that are created to move things forward and A lot of them are like NNE. I don't believe in NNE. That's nano nuclear energy. I don't believe in that. I think that's a bust. But then there's other good companies, GE Vernova, that has nuclear energy. So is Fusion Energy next on the line? And is this company for real? It seems like it. They have a good backer
Yeah.
in
I mean,
Google. So
it sounds like it. I mean,
and Bill Gates started the company, so it seems like this is a good way to do it. Google would be a good way to play if you can't buy the company directly.
yeah, and they've also invested in another company called TAE Technologies with this fusion energy. So, I mean, if
Nice.
they're right, this could be the story of energy for the next, in the
It
next
could
10
be.
years.
Could
Absolutely.
be. Fusion could be the way we go when power spacecrafts to Mars. So there you
We'll
go.
see. Yeah.
Elon Musk pushing to Mars. Remember that.
I don't want to live there.
You don't have to, Brandon. You have to be accepted. I don't think they would accept you.
I don't want to be accepted. I don't want to go to
I,
Mars.
I don't think they're going to accept you, Brandon. You got to apply to be accepted. All right. Anyways,
I mean,
move.
why would I want to? I could just go to Arizona if I want to live in crazy heat.
It's it's not heat. It's actually, isn't it colder on
I
Mars?
don't know. I don't know.
I believe it's colder. Yeah.
It
So
might
it's
be.
just desert looking, but I believe it's colder. All right. The only earnings I saw coming up this week that was of interest at all to me was Delta. Delta was reporting Thursday before the bell. That was the only earnings I saw. So
Why United?
interesting to see.
I think United's at a better valuation right now.
Final thought,
I think
Brandon.
if you were buying Delta, you would have bought it when Nick Young was saying to buy it on the show
Yes.
a month ago.
Final thought.
Yeah, don't react to things right away. Hold your cards close to your chest. If you see something like the ADP report come out, that's just something to keep an eye out for. And I don't want to discount the ADP report. A lot of the, BLS data was driven by government increases in employment. That's not good. So the private employment was kind of weak, and I think the Federal Reserve should lower interest rates in July this month. But at the same time, it was no reason to sell off all your stocks, and a lot of people did. Man, the market took a dump that day.
Yeah, people reacting instead of staying calm.
Yeah,
Um, my final thought is congratulations to Nick Young. He's a contributor on the show. Him and his wife just welcomed in their second child into this fantastic blue world. So
congratulations.
congratulations. I set up a trust fund, right? Yeah, get your trust fund rolling now.
Right?
That way, by the time they're 18, they'll have $1 million and it'll be worth like 100,000 because of inflation. So there you go. Joking, joking, joking. No, yes, coming up this week, watch the news. The Fed should, I agree with you, do a rate cut this month. We'll see if they do.
Yeah.
We'll see. All right, that's it. Thanks for listening. Hit the subscribe button. As always, we hope we've been entertaining, educational, and uplifting because we want everyone to make money. Have a good night.
Have a good night.